Welcome to Old Faithful with your host, Matt Trask. I'm going to have to start calling it Old Faithful's plural. My thanks, as always, to Haggerty's Music Works, as always, every other week. My thanks to the incomparable Johnny Hastings. Please support my friends at Black Hills Blend. Although there's no coffee, please wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance when you're out in public. I feel like I should say that. I am so excited. Without further ado, Mr. Wes Wooley.
Hey, Matt,
how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Your name is Wes Wooley. Please tell us your middle name is Warren.
No.
Damn it. Okay.
My middle name is from my grandfather,
Okay.
who was German. It's Melcher. Melcher.
I'm so glad I asked these questions.
See, normally I fib and go, it's Michael.
Okay.
Because Wesley Michael sounds okay.
Right.
Yeah, but Melcher, they're going like, what?
Well, I was going for WWW, but the middle one's actually an upside down W, so it works.
Yeah, it works out.
Okay. It could be a band logo if you got another band.
You know, it could be.
Yeah, which we'll probably get to. Why don't you tell us about you, and I'll shut up for a while.
Well, I was born in South Carolina.
Okay.
My father was in the Army. So my first years of growing up through probably age 8 to 9, I spent a lot of years in the South. South Carolina, Louisiana, Alabama, New Jersey. We spent time here in South Dakota when my dad went to Vietnam, 2 tours. And then we spent some time in Alaska.
Okay.
But the cool thing was that my dad, we moved like every 1.5 or 2 years in the Army back then, right?
Okay.
So every place we would go, he would hook me up with a GI that would teach me music.
Oh, wow.
So every place I went, I had a new teacher. Now looking back, I realized the only thing he had me let them teach me was country and folk. I didn't even know there was rock and roll until I got a radio in my car.
Huh. None of the GIs from the Vietnam era showed you any rock and roll. That seems incredible.
Well, I think it was by the choice of my dad.
Okay.
He, because of the era, he wasn't a real rock and roll supporter because they were like, not very friendly to the boys that came home.
Right. Okay.
So I think by selection, he was like, because I always said, boy, he says, I want you to be a country star. I'm like, dude, I just want to go out and play baseball, but. So I took lessons for a year.
Okay.
And he made it back from Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, but when he came off the airplane, he had this guitar.
He had that
He
guitar.
had this with him coming back from Vietnam.
Which leads us right into that guitar.
Exactly.
Why
right?
not?
So that's why it's interesting. Yeah. So he's coming off the airplane with this guitar in a case.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just happy to see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got this guitar. I'm not thinking about the guitar. So we get his baggage and stuff, and he says, here, carry this. So I carried it, and he said, this is your guitar. And I said, well, that's pretty cool, right? So then a few years later, when I got a little bit older, he told me the story how he got the guitar.
Okay.
So he went to Vietnam, that tour, and he was with the First Division, Big Red One.
Okay.
And they were in some really heavy firefights. He was a sergeant major. And there was a young guy that was in his group. And they were in big firefights, and then they get back and they chill out a little bit. And then my dad started talking to this kid, and this kid says, well, I play guitar. He says, I wanted to be a country star, but he says, went in the war. So my dad says, well, how about I get your guitar over here? So my dad had his guitar flown to Vietnam. So this is a 1964 J45.
A Gibson,
ADJ.
quite
a
obviously.
Gibson, exactly, yeah, exactly. 64 J45. ADJ, which means it's got the adjustable bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he got the guitar over, and my dad told me, he says, yeah, we would get back from these outings, and he says, we wanted to hang loose and have a few drinks, and he said this guy would bring this guitar out and just tear it up. Well, they got talking, and the young guy says, Sergeant Major, he says, if I don't make it out of here alive, he says, I want your son to have this guitar.
Can you believe this is happening?
So he never made it. The
Okay.
guitar did. And this has been with me ever since 1966 is when I got it.
That is an
Isn't it crazy?
incredible story. The
Yeah.
only question I have, do we know where it was sitting when your dad had it shipped over from Vietnam?
Where it started from?
Yeah.
You know, I looked up the serial numbers, and it was made down, I thought, near in Tennessee someplace.
Okay.
I got to look that up. It's been a few years. I couldn't find enough information of who bought it yet. I may
Okay.
go back and try
All
to
right.
dig that up now with the interweb being a little bit more
Sure.
robust,
Right.
right? But it came from that area of the U.S. that was made from one of the factories there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so-
But we don't exactly know where that kid, and God rest his soul, where he was residing.
Well, you know, he must have been pretty good because as I got older, I got looking at the guitar and the wear, and there was wear on the frets from sliding and bending strings all the way into here.
Sure.
So he had it probably 2 years, and he was wearing the frets out.
Wow.
Up here. So you figure if you're a country player in that era,
Right.
and you're doing up in here and playing, so you were probably pretty salty.
You were getting after
Yeah,
it.
I think so. You know, you weren't playing just boom chucks.
Right. So we've got, it looks like a spruce top and a mahogany back inside.
This is actually the Indian rosewood.
Oh, it is Indian rosewood. Okay.
Yep.
And there's a top crack, maybe? Has
Yeah.
that been repaired?
It has. This came because in Alaska it's very, very dry. And I was only 11, 12, 13 when I was
Sure.
there, and I didn't know anything about taking care of guitar.
Right.
So fast forward a few years, I opened up the case and I've got these 2 big cracks in it.
Uh-huh.
So I had Stuart Jenner kind of seal up the cracks and put some, support in there.
Right.
So yeah, so that's from that. There's a war wound here where when I was 8, I think I stood up and I dropped it on my music stand and stuck it right through the top of the music stand.
Oh.
Right? So, but, it's a little Bondo and red paint. So there's some cool stories, right?
Yeah.
But
Thank you for bringing this guitar. Has it been refretted or anything?
no, it needs it.
And
It needs it, yeah. Yeah, it's got a lot of grooves, and these frets are wore down probably 3 or 4 thousandths flat at least.
Right.
There have been a lot of work been put onto them. Yeah.
Why don't you play us a little country bluegrass something, and then we'll get on to this other one?
Okay, sure will.
Yee-haw!
There. Yahoo!
Bargain on that thing, boy!
Yeah. Kind of. I have another guitar that I use for banging around, going to jams and stuff.
Right.
A few years ago, I really got into bluegrass. I play country, rock, bluegrass. So about 3 years ago or so, 3.5 years ago, I started playing a duo with a buddy of mine. You know him, Derek Young.
Derek DeYoung.
Yeah, right.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, exactly. So, we met here at Haggerty's because I teach music here.
Okay.
And we ran into each other and we started playing, and we said, let's go play. So we put together a duo that was called Live Without Lemons. So we got playing, and at that time I did not have this, and the guitar I had, it couldn't keep up with Derek.
Right.
Derek is, high energy, right? And he's got a Taylor that just is strong, cut through the mix. He plays a drum kit. So my guitar, I couldn't get it loud enough. So I was looking for a guitar, and obviously down here, every time I was done with a lesson, I'd come into the guitar room, and these things kept calling my name, and
Right.
I tried to avoid it, So this was the last one I looked at on the wall, and I picked it up and I played it. I loved it. It's a 2017 NAMM Special. It's a one of a kind.
Oh, this was a NAMM special.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2017, and it has very unique attributes, and that was the whole idea of the NAMM guitars was,
Right.
They got to make whatever they want to make. So this has a walnut back and sides. It has a western red cedar top.
It's a cedar top.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And I like
love cedar top.
Yeah, I liked them because right away they jump.
Right.
When you get them. It has a neck that was cut designed off of their T5 electrics.
Oh, okay.
So now it's thin and smooth all the
Sure.
way down, right?
Yeah.
It is a short scale. It's 24 and 7/8. So then I run 13 gauge strings and it
Okay.
has kind of a little bit heavier, sound.
Right. It sounds beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of body to it, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it has great electronics, because Taylor has, top electronics.
You can't
Yeah.
do better than Taylor's
Yeah,
electronics.
it's pretty
you really
tough.
can't.
It's really still tough. So I got this and been playing that.
Right. One feature of this guitar that's becoming a little more common on acoustics is the four-arm bevel,
Yep. Yeah. I
There.
think they call it the comfort cut.
the comfort cut.
Yeah. And this, the wood that's on here is a cocobolo.
Oh.
So this is like a special rare wood that's on it,
Okay.
So that's why you have this kind of a reddish colored wood. That's
Sure.
on it. Yeah.
What
So-
is the rosette?
The rosette is the cocobolo.
It is.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's hand cut, obviously, and laid inside of it.
This
And,
is a beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. man.
Ebony
Yeah,
fretboard?
Yeah.
Is it
Yes.
an ebony fretboard?
Yep, and then you have no fret markers up here.
No,
so it's
no
nice
fret
and clean.
markers.
It's the black is actually stained.
Oh,
It
it's
is not
stained.
painted. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It's stained. So, yeah, if it gets dinged, it's probably, unless I go into the wood, it's probably not going to show up too much.
Sure. Huh.
Yeah.
And you, just to clarify, you did get this here at Haggard.
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, the nation's #1 independent tailor retailer. Still don't know what that means, but they're very proud of it. Do you play this guitar every day?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah. I play probably 2 to 4 hours a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this generally you give lessons
Mm-hmm.
and do you still perform out much?
I haven't for the last year and a half or so. I was playing quite a bit over about 4 or 5 years, in some different groups and accompanying guitars and bluegrass groups. And then the last 2 years, I did a couple of summers of doing my solo shows
Sure.
for some places around town, right? I decided to just take a break and then
Right.
kind of work on my chops.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm kind of chilling. And now that this thing came up with, us not being able to go out as much, probably next year before I
Right.
get out again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't forget my sponsorship with Trask Hay LLC, large, round, and square bales, 605-515-0858. Country guitarist Alan Jackson. I don't think Alan Jackson cares, but Alan Jackson today says, change your strength. Are you ready, Wes?
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, I'm going to do a song that was written by John Hartford that was
Okay.
made famous by Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Camp.
Gentle on My Mind.
Perfect.
Knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk. That makes me tend to leave my sleeping bag rolled up and stashed behind your couch. 'Cause knowing I'm not shackled by forgotten words and bonds, and the ink stains that have dried upon some line. That keeps you in the back roads by the rivers of my memory. That keeps you ever gentle on my mind. Yes, knowing that I'm shackled by forgotten words and bonds. I did my cup of soup back from her gurgling, crackling cauldron in some train yard. My beard a rustling coal pile and a dirty hat pulled low across my face. You cup hands round a tin can, I pretend to hold you to my breast and find that you're standing on the back road by the rivers of my memory, where I was you just gentle on my mind.